Hi, guys. Okay, on Sunday, we had the new moon, and I talked about it a lot yesterday, and today I want to talk about it a little bit more. Yesterday, we talked about planting seeds and the power that comes from planting seeds. Um, Emotional seeds, like the ability to, I don't know, choose what you want out of your life and then get it. And yesterday I talked about how a seed grows, right? It needs water, it needs nutrients, it needs light, it needs time, it needs an environment that is conducive to the growth of the seed. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about today, because yesterday I talked about all the other things, and today we've got to talk about how are we going to grow this seed? How are we going to make the correct environment? And this is important for the upcoming eclipse on April 8th, because that is the next new moon from now. This is a very powerful time to set this. What are the seeds that you want to plant prior to this big eclipse so that we can take advantage of this big eclipse energy that's coming up? How are we going to practically apply it to our lives? It starts now. It starts right now as we're deciding what do we want to do with our lives anyway, right? How do we want to serve the world? How do we want to bless all of God's children on this planet? I said all of them. That's like a tall order. How do I want to bless my neighbors? That's the people that God commanded us to love. The people next to us. How am I going to show love to the people next to me? The people in my sphere of influence. Okay. Um, okay, so let's talk about the environment. With an actual plant, when you're dealing with an actual plant, uh, the problem with weeds, right? What is the problem with weeds? Well, one of the problems with weeds is that it takes up actual geographical space that your seed needs in order to grow. It's going to block out the light. It's going to use up precious nutrients that should be going to the good thing, and instead it's going to the weed. Yesterday I talked about how in the Bible we have that parable of, these seeds that fall on the different parts of the path, and you want seeds planted in good ground. And, I think when we try and plant a seed that doesn't grow to fruition, the problem is because the environment within our own hearts was not conducive to the growth of that seed. So probably a really good example of this is going to be weight loss, because virtually, I mean, like almost everyone has a goal of weight loss. And if you're trying to plant the seed of losing weight and getting to a healthy weight that you keep for the rest of your life, and you've planted the seed probably a bunch of times. You've probably said to yourself over and over, I'm going to do it. I'm really going to do it. I'm really going to do it. You might have tried 55 diets. You might have tried intermittent fasting. You might have tried exercising really hard. You've tried all these different solutions and they didn't stick. Why didn't they stick? Because you planted a seed in inappropriate ground. So what's going on? What is going on in the ground inside of your own heart? What are the thorns or the sandy stuff, the rocky soil? What are the weeds in the way? What is growing that shouldn't be growing there? And it's blocking out the light for the seed that you actually do want to grow, the seed of like true health. Okay. Not to say that weight loss is equivalent to true health, but to a certain extent, you know, severe amounts of excess weight are antithetical to true health. I hope we can agree with that. But getting to a healthy weight solves a lot of health problems for many people. But okay, let's talk about the environment. What could be going on in a heart that's making it so that that seed can't grow? I keep planting the seed and it's not growing, but why isn't it growing? Okay, so I want you to just think about this. What are the other things going on in the soil of my spirit that's making it so the seed can't grow? Well, one big thing is going to be things to use this exact thing as an example, is going to be ideas about physical safety. I think a lot of women in particular pack on pounds out of a desire to feel safe. Physical weight shields the true shape of your body from the eyes of everyone around you. If you are a survivor of any kind of abuse, that can be really tempting to just make yourself kind of more powerful, more difficult to harm. Having that extra mass makes you literally harder to throw around. It makes it harder for people to control you. My brother's a doctor, and he was telling me about this this horrible case where he had to intubate somebody who was like 400 pounds, and she just didn't want it. And like she was going to die unless they, did this operation. And she was she was like cognitively like a couple years old, but she was physically like 50 or something, and she was just enormous and had no idea of what was going on. But her family was like, we're going to save her life. You got to do this operation. And um and my brother just said, like, guess what? Like, no one can force someone of that size to have an operation they don't want. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, they can just push you out of the way and like they have the mass on their side and no one can force them to do anything, so it was like this very difficult time in the ER that day. um but but that can be an element of the environment inside that's going to make it so that it's hard for a seed to grow. How can I plant the seed of I'm going to weigh 120 pounds when I have the giant weed growing that says I have to weigh 400 pounds to feel safe? If I just weigh enough, then no one can hurt me, or I can hurt them back, or they won't want to touch me because I will be gross to them, right? When we have these conflicting beliefs, it can act as a kind of protection for us. And it can act as a weed that's going to block that light to the other seeds growing. So let's talk about money. So I think everybody, has the seed that they want to plant of, I have enough money. I have plenty of money to do all the things that I want to do, right? I'm sure you've seen that meme where it's like, my mom said I could do anything I wanted to do when I was grown up, but you can't. You can only do what you can afford to do. And yeah, that's kind of true. So I think most of us have the goal. I want to afford to do whatever I want to do. So then why when we keep planting that seed? For so many of us, we're repeatedly planting the seed. We're like, I want to live this life where I can afford to do what I want to do. So why isn't that seed growing? Well, we got to look at the internal environment. What is the sandiness? What is the rockiness? What is the weed that's blocking out the light for this seed? And it might be beliefs of unworthiness. It might be fear of standing out. I hear a lot from people that want to kind of like do the kind of stuff that I do. And, they want to have a big following and make a big impact and share a big message, but they don't want to deal with the haters. They don't want to deal with all those little meanies leaving the mean YouTube comments. And they don't want to deal with hate mail. They don't want to deal with people's judgments. They don't want to deal with what other people would say. If that's a weed that's growing in your heart, you can plant a seed over and over that says, I want to have a big impact. But if you have a big weed that says, the most important thing is living free from criticism, then you're not going to grow that seed. Like, to have a high impact life, you have to become okay with a lot of criticism. Like, truly, I don't know. I mean, I feel like most of my audience is pretty nice, and most people are pretty nice to me on the internet, but some people are not. And sometimes it's pretty brutal, and you have to pull up that weed. You have to just say, if I want to live a high impact life enough that I'm going to rip out that weed in my heart that says the most important thing is to be free from criticism. And I need to plant that seed that says, I am going to serve other people and make their lives better, no matter how much other people malign me, no matter what they're saying about me. I'm going to know in my own heart that I'm a good person, such that no matter what other people say, I can still show up. I am going to choose to show up no matter what other people are up to. Other people can say what they're going to say, but I am going to keep showing up. So today, as we're still in this new moon energy, yesterday I asked you to write down what are the things that you want to plant in your life for the next month, the next year, the next 18 months, the next 18 years. Today, I want you to just look at what's actually going on in your heart. What are the weeds in your life that are blocking out the sunlight from those seeds being fully planted? Because I would bet that most of us are going to be planting seeds that we've tried to plant a lot of times before. Most of us have tried to get healthy, to get more money, to have better relationships, to reach these different goals. We've been working at that for a long time, and we can plant the seed again. We've already planted it. I would bet most of us have already planted a lot of seeds of the same variety that we're trying to plant again today. And if those seeds have not been growing for you, you need to look in your own heart and start pulling up weeds. What are the weeds that are blocking these seeds from growing? Okay, that is what I want you to talk to think about today. And I want to invite you also, okay, this is alliedzetclasses.com. This is my main website. And these are the foundational sessions. If you haven't done them, please just like do them. They're free, so you have nothing to lose. Please like come on and do it. Listen on double speed. You can listen to these. You don't have to watch. The only thing that's important is the audio. Listen to them while you do the dishes, while you drive around in your car, while you go on a jog, while you fold your laundry. Like just they I designed them for busy moms like me, because guess what? I have 5 kids. I don't have time to like meditate and like do all this stuff. Like I I do what I can, and I designed these for busy people like me who need to like heal their lives as fast as possible, as cheaply as possible, um, and be able to do it while multitasking. So if you are that kind of person where you don't have unlimited money and you don't have unlimited time and you need to like get your crap together ASAP because you have kids depending on you and you have your own self depending on you, go to my website. It's going to change your life. Um, but okay, what did I want to show you in here? The session that I wanted to recommend today is going to be the self-sabotage session. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Healing self-sabotage. And I have healing the upper self-sabotage limit. Maybe I'll talk about that later, but this is the one that I'm really going to recommend for today. Healing self-sabotage. All of us deal with self-sabotage. You are your own greatest enemy. You are your own best friend. You are your own greatest enemy. Everything in your life, you are the biggest player in your own life. The life that you are experiencing is a direct result of the decisions that you have made over the course of your life. And other people have played supporting roles and they've caused you trauma and they've caused troubles in your life that you have to deal with, but how you deal with them impacts everything. And all of us deal with some amount of self-sabotage, which is when we ourselves tell ourselves that I'm not good enough for this, I don't deserve this. We force ourselves into situations that are worse than we want, because on some level we don't want the success. Like all these examples that I've just given, we want the money, we want the impact, but we don't want anybody to say anything bad about us. We don't really want our name out there. We don't want our face out there. We don't really want to do the work, like I feel like I look like I have had all this success and I have had a bunch of success. And what people don't see is that for, I don't know, 9 years of that, I was nursing babies and working every night from 1 to 5 in the morning while I was nursing and changing diapers and dealing with my babies and nursing and typing my essays with one hand. Like it's a lot of work to have success. It doesn't just magically show up, right? We've got to heal our self-sabotage so that we can get out of our own way and allow ourselves to do that work, to show up, to experience the things that we want to experience. Like, not to say that to accomplish your goals, you have to show up at 2 a.m. while you're nursing and do it one-handed, but just to say that there's probably things you can do in your life that you're not doing because there's part of you that truly wants you to stay where you are. And this session is really going to help you get out of that. So I don't recommend just jumping into this if you're not already on my site. Definitely start with, I have so many sessions. Okay, let's scroll, come on. Definitely start with the foundational sessions because you have to do those for the rest of the stuff to be like ultimately effective. So start with that and then do the self-sabotage session. But that's going to be an excellent session for today. Even for the rest of the week, these are not necessarily one and done. You'll probably feel some big shifts just the first time you do it, but you can get more out of it going through it again in the future. But whatever we can do to get out of our own way as we build up to this lunar eclipse, you're just going to thank yourself, okay? You're going to thank yourself and be your own hero as you work through your own self-sabotage so that you can have the best possible experience with this upcoming lunar eclipse and then solar eclipse. We're in the crunch time now, guys. That new moon happened on Sunday and it opened up that window of time leading up to the lunar eclipse and then the solar eclipse. For the next 4 weeks, you're going to feel how life speeds up and gets faster. Things are going to get busier. Things are going to organically show up to help you get clearer on what you actually want out of your life. What do you actually want to experience as part of your life? Okay, that's enough. Okay, thanks, guys. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Have a good night, a good day.